If one is seeking love or is mad at women for treating them unfairly, especially for treating good men unfairly, it leads to a fixation on rape. This can only be conquered with intense morality. So what we're looking at here with the frats, the military, the covert cultures of the intelligence agencies and the law enforcement agencies, they don't really do a good job at tackling the rape problem, nor do they come up with innovative and insightful ways to tackle the problem. Okay, we're looking at a fixation on rape versus moral boundaries, moral barriers, right? It is the cultural barriers that allow for the rape in the first place, which are a result of a denial of the true martial art order, right? Who should truly be revered. As long as society refuses to accept what ill-gotten gains are, you're going to see things like white denial. You're going to see, white privilege. You're going to see an inability of the liberals to precisely define these ideas so that they can shift the power in their favor and abuse the people themselves. Okay, we'll get into that momentarily. So this video is about fixation on rape versus moral boundaries, moral barriers. Number one, frats are void of a moral theme. The theme of frats isn't martial arts morality with heart, a willingness to die for love and true morality. No. Frats, which are instrumental in the course of, in determining the course of humanity and defining the cultures that are allowed to exist, okay, are void of morality. They have rape culture themes. And this goes back to the foundation of Western civilization. Connect intellect to Greece and Rome, the philosophers, the pagan scientists, the mystery schools. These people sat there and studied astrology and science and human behavior and thought of ways to manipulate people using drugs, using substances, materials, okay? Using psychology, psyche, and psychology. And this eventually expressed itself in the modern day Greek societies or college fraternities. I can't stress that enough. If you don't understand that this is the continuity of rape cults, then you are missing the point. And those rape cults are the foundation of Western society. Before Christ was the pagan structures. Before the philosophers were known as such, were pagan philosophers, if you will. They are the continuity of pagan philosophy, and ultimately philosophy departments, science departments, and fraternities go hand in fucking hand, basically. Number two, there is an absence of martial arts-derived, serious, intense morality. Let's face it, nobody is as intense and focused and precise with their morality as the martial artist. They might be an actor putting on a good one. They might be a scientist filling your head with intellectual jargon and making you think they should be in charge. But that's not what a leader is. A leader is helping you understand exactly why they should be in charge and forcing you to see that you're evil if you do not obey them. That is part of what it means to be a leader. So in the absence of a divine martial arts order, you have an absence of serious, focused, and intense morality. This is no small problem. In the absence of that, there can only be evil. That's like you saying, we're going to have an absence of good, but we're not going to be evil. No, in the absence of good, there can only be evil. And only the divine martial arts order, which has the Spirit of God, is good. Why do you call any sage good? When Jesus represents a sage in the Bible, he says, why do you call me good? No one is good but the Spirit of God, which is only conveyed through the martial art order. Only God alone. Okay, number three, there is an absence of a focused and organized process of defining boundaries by females. If you don't say, look, we are not going to go to these fraternity parties anymore. This is ridiculous. They're raping everybody and their mom. And it creates a rape culture on the campus. If we don't say these are the boundaries, and we're going to come together as females and have each other's backs, this thing is going to continue. Number 4. Who dates who? When men feel that women aren't using a fair scale in dating, they don't respect them. Even if you're dating their brothers and their friends, sometimes that can trigger them. You can be in their culture and dating their friends, and they're like, man, you know, it's the old, I'm going to get to it in number 6, right? It creates resentment, right? They're like, fuck you, you fucked her instead of me, basically. So who dates who, aka men feeling that women aren't using a fair scale in dating, number 4. Number 5, the devil's due. Don't underestimate how many functionalist, pragmatic, age of enlightenment, rationalist, realist, quote-unquote, ninnies with their wordplay bitch shit believe in giving the devil his due. This creates a systematic process of punishing females for playing the college to corporate workplace game. When they're doing this game, they're challenging gender roles. Okay, and this leads in 3 directions. And ultimately, we see various forms of them being punished for this. The rape culture in the military, the rape culture in colleges, the rape culture in the workplace, and so on and so forth. Sexual harassment, and so on and so forth. Okay. So this leads to 3 ways. 1, they can leave college and do a conservative kind of direction. Okay. 2, they can go, so that's going backwards, right? If they go forwards, there's only 2 directions. 1 is Set. Remember, Set was sexually immoral. He represents the principles of evil. Okay? It is an LGBT feminist direction. Who has the upper hand? Western civilization wasn't made by conservatives who are trying to keep people in one place. It was made by more liberal people who were moving forward using science and technology, which gives the LGBT feminist-run party the upper hand. Corporation. Corporate. Core pirate. From the word corpus, which means body, and is a play on words for corpus. Corpus. Okay? It is controlling the females. The eyes on the prize, the bull's eye, the bully. Why is he bullying you? Because he's a big bully and he's concerned with the female who might otherwise not choose him. So this is the LGBT feminist psychology rape cult direction. Why? Because they seek to replace the other bullies to some degree with their own. And we see this in women's prison, for example, where there are high rates of sexual assaults. We see this in lesbian relationships, which there's a high rate of domestic violence and abuse. So what is the corporate world? It includes Hollywood, includes the media, Fortune 500 companies, and so on and so forth. Pharmaceutical companies, all these goons that they have gone to college to join. Or, and they can also join as a controlled opposition person. One way or another, they're sponsored by corporations when they're controlled opposition. They can also join FBI, they recruit in college, and so on and so forth. All these people are rape cult, turn a blind eye, and ignore the divine order types of organizations, groups, and entities. Or they can go and choose the divine order, which they don't. And ironically, when they don't, men lose respect for them, and it feeds into the cycle. This cycle can only be broken by the divine order, and it can only truly be broken by me. Why? Because I am the top martial artist, and they're screening me out and keeping me from having a child that I raised myself, mind, body, soul, and spirit conveyed. If these things aren't there, all that happens is ill-gotten gains. Okay? El, right? It's a play on words for El, E-L, meaning Lord. How did you get these gains? Why were you allowed to live? Because of one of those rape cult deities raised you and waited for me to be screened out? That type of person cannot bring the kingdom of God, nor can they reverse the rape cult. That is just, perhaps at best, the nicest rape cult group giving you a rape cult fake messiah. Okay, that is not the same thing. Number 6. The fuck you, dude. Punish them for showing up at parties because of jealousy. This is where we get gang rape, right? This is where we get training someone. Training them for what? For the pirate culture, corporate, core, pirate. If, I use a Viking female example in my notes. Hey, when a female Viking joins a Viking ship, do the rapes stop? Does the pillaging stop? No. If they start accepting more females on the Viking ship, is everything, all on the up and up? No. There's still rape. She might be a lesbian. There's still rape. These are pirates. These are skull and bones, thong-wearing bitches. And their guilt is a result of their culture, which none of these people intend to address. And even if they took on Asian culture or an Arabic culture or an African culture other than the specific truth in the culture that I'm referring to, then all they're doing is taking on another rape called culture and enforcing it on other people's cultures, which is even more wrong than if it was a separate culture by itself. Because it's forcing other people to do it their way, on top of it being a rape, defy the divine order culture. There is no cheating the top martial artist and his bloodline out of their rightful place and ever being right with God again. Okay? Or ever having a chance to be right with God again. Number 7, movies, TVs, the way people dress, cheerleaders cheering on rape culture. Who are they really cheering on? What are these symbols and these ideas that these teams really represent? Duke, Blue Devils, I believe it is. Oh, that's not a rape culture, we swear. Yes, it's a rape culture. Ask the tripper who got raped by the lacrosse team. Lay cross, double cross, the feminine suffix because they're acting like less than men. Nerdy, sport with a T instead of spar with no D. Type of sissy, namby-pamby bitch shit. Especially when it is played in this particularly sissy, college, preppy kind of geeky, sort of dorky way with the E. The schoolgirl dress, right? Think about this in porn, right? Cheerleaders. Are cheerleaders associated with porn? Let me see. That's why the NFL had a problem with their cheerleaders being abused, right? And I'm sure they still do. So schoolgirl dress, sorority dating, and the jogging sorority articles of clothing, right? They say, don't judge a book by its cover, but it's the same culture that calls it articles of clothing. And I've gone over all the words that prove my point that I could think of. And there's quite a few of them I've gone over that have to do with proving my point about how you dress, telling people something about yourself, And so when you see me and you see that I'm dressed a little off sometimes, it is because they are making it harder for me to dress. When they can't beat me at sparring in $4,000 4-year challenge and so on and so forth, right, and I'm dressing off, it is because they have gone to great lengths to make me look bad.